Sometimes, when I make a great effort, I can remember her scent, the sweetness of her breath. Serena.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Serena. Now this is kind of a different game where
Her
it's
photo is right there. Maybe I could have another look.
more of a dialogue-driven game. It's more of a point-and-click adventure explorator game. You're basically in this one room. This is all the sort of environment that you get, and it's more of a story. So it's not so much a horror game,
One more try. I know it's pointless, but I need to do it.
but it's more of a psychological type. It plays on the psyche, really, of the person, and you are this person speaking, and it delves into the madness of the character. But you get to know a little bit as the story goes on. So, I did play it a while back, but we'll just see how it goes. Okay.
I'm
So,
terrified of that photo, but I'll lose my mind if I don't have another look.
okay, so you kind of get the idea of what he's trying to hint at. So this is the photo.
Serena, why can't I see you more clearly? Why can't I even remember?
Alright, so you notice that her face is sort of blurred out. That's pretty much the photo at the moment. Remember how this looks. Remember the photo. Remember how the photo looks. It's quite interesting what happens. Basically, it's just a point-and-click game. You've got various sort of options. See, and just click where it says.
Serena enjoyed spice in our life. I preferred it more bland. We were so different on some points.
Each sort of spot has a different set of dialogue, so you get to know that as time goes on.
Would you pass me the pepper? You know, you should use it too. It's good for the pressure.
Assuming it means blood pressure, maybe.
I can't help these random associations. It's always been that way. I look at a pepper shaker and think of a Beatles song.
What Beatles song could go with a pepper shake? I don't know.
It's just a pepper shaker, really.
And sometimes you get dialogue that repeats itself. That means it's time to move on in a bit.
We got this set from that clearance sale, however long ago that was, yet we never needed to refill it. I didn't notice this before. It reads, "Contents imported from Ceylon." How old is this stuff? It's just a pepper shaker,
Okay.
really.
So now he's repeating himself, so we move on. What's this?
You always put too much salt in, dear. Think about your pressure.
She always worried about my diet. I used to think she did it to annoy me, but now, yep, guilty as charged. I love salt.
So do I.
It emphasizes the taste a lot, and those crispy snacks.
Yeah, I like salt as well.
It's not the healthier type, just regular table salt. I always planned to switch to mineral or sea salt, but then I always ended up buying the regular stuff. Doctors, they always overreact.
That's true.
I must be even more exhausted than I realize. Here I am staring at a salt shaker, my thoughts a million miles away. It's not the healthier type, just
Okay,
regular
those
table
repeat,
salt.
So we move on.
The furniture came with the cabin. Considering how off the beaten path this place is, that helped make up our mind. Sometimes she would brush her leg against mine under the table when we were eating. A curious, sensual thrill.
Footsies.
The table is worn but sturdy, just like our relationship was. Or is. I just don't know anymore.
Plate.
Our dining table. Quite modest, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Careful.
I could tell plenty of stories about this table. To be honest, I'm surprised it's still in one piece. The dining table was well worn even when we acquired the cabin. You could tell from its appearance that it had been the centerpiece of many happy occasions. And there were many more to come. Our dining table. Quite modest, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I could tell plenty of stories about this table. To be honest, I'm surprised it's still in one piece.
I was clicking on something else, but obviously not. Alright, so
We had such a wonderful time dining in this cabin. Serena loved to experiment with her cooking. Sharing meals with a good red wine was one of the great pleasures in our relationship, especially in the intimacy of this cabin.
I must say, the ambience of this game is quite good. You can hear the clock ticking, even though it's all the way up there. You can hear the birds chirping outside. The graphics are quite nice. They're not so dark.
Truth be told, not all the cooking she did was a resounding success. We agreed to never attempt doing ravioli again.
You silly dolt. Here, give me that. Don't be such a child.
I think it dates from the colonial era, probably brought over by the Pilgrims. It belongs in a museum. An archaeologist could excavate the layers of food forever welded onto this and learn about the days when other beings ruled the earth.
I think this is actually meant to be played in one sitting, so I might split the video up into 3 parts. It depends on how we go.
I think it dates from the colonial era, probably brought over by the Pilgrims. So much wisdom and happiness in this bookcase. My life would have been much poorer without all this. The smell of old books is intoxicating.
I agree.
What happens to wood pulp as it ages gives it that distinctive vanilla smell.
Oh,
I
never
loved
noticed.
it when we took down one of my favorites and curled up on the bed to read together as the wind howled outside on cold winter nights. Most of the books are mine, but all of hers are still here too. A lot of rarities and special editions here. I didn't lend out my Necronomicon, did I? No, of course not. Most of the books are mine, but all of hers are still here too.
Okay, so we've got that.
A lot of rarities and special editions here. I didn't lend out my Necronomicon, did I? No, of course not. So many afternoons spent in this armchair.
Come sit with me. I want to talk. And cuddle.
What did we talk about? Damn this fallible memory of mine. The most comfortable spot in the cabin. Well, along with the bed, of course. I can imagine her cuddling up to me even now, putting her hand under my shirt. Of course, we made love here, too. There was no place in the cabin we didn't before things deteriorated. The most comfortable spot in the cabin. Well, along with the bed, of course.
Yeah, that was quite freaky. The person standing in the background. Always imagine somebody looking into the window from here.
This window never got much attention. Then again, the view isn't nearly as spectacular. Priorities, right? I guess it's covered with grease and grime from cooking, mostly. There's probably nothing out there that I want to see, anyway. All the stuff I care about is inside. Well, except for Serena. I can make out nothing through this window. There was a time, long ago, that all this disrepair felt oddly homey. All the windows are drafty, but like everything else, we just got used to it. We liked it, even. I can make out nothing through this window. No, I don't want to leave right now. There's still something for me in here.
True friends stand by each other through any diversity. Yeah, that's true. Come on, love, with peace in your heart, said Nina of the Jove eyes. Ride with me and shed your mortal guise. Here is our mount, a snow-white mare. Come on, Olsen, to my something. No, I don't know.
Come, love, with peace in your heart, said Niamh of the ice-blue eyes. Blue eyes. It's based on an Irish folktale. Warrior poet O'Sheen goes to Tirnanog, a Celtic otherworld known as the Land of Youth and Promise. Niamh is of the Fey folk, the fair ones, fairies. Weird mix of doggerel and artistry. The elemental imagery is evocative, but the language and structure are a bit quaint. Still, some lines jump out at you. I've always been drawn to things that are kind of both good and bad at the same time. Maybe because that's so like life. My grandma introduced me to these old legends when I was just a kid, in between stories of what she could still remember of her childhood in the old country. Weird mix of doggerel and artistry. The elemental imagery is evocative, but the language and structure are a bit quaint. Still, some lines jump out at you. I've always been drawn to things that are kind of both good and bad at the same time. Maybe because that's so like life. Something draws me to this trunk. Is it the memories locked within? Or something else?
I can't remember whether you could open this trunk or not.
We use this trunk to store trinkets and papers, but I can't help thinking there's something of importance inside. It's too painful. I want to, but not yet. We found this trunk at a flea market. We used to love rummaging around those in our early years. Big enough for a lifetime of mementos. We hated guns, so we never had any, even out here. But this would have been a good place to keep one, since it can be locked. We found this trunk at a flea market. We used to love rummaging around those in our early years. There's a strand of blonde hair in the comb. Yes, blonde hair like sun rays. I'm remembering. What's wrong with my memory? Did I have a stroke? She also had a brush, but I can't see it anywhere. Nor some of her other personal items. It's just a regular comb bought from a supermarket, new enough to still have all its teeth. Hers. I used it too, when shaving. There's only an outhouse, and for some reason, whoever erected the rickety thing didn't think to include wall-to-wall mirrors, so this came in handy. Should I dust for fingerprints? I might if I were in a detective story. After all these years, it permanently smells of her and her perfume. The last thing I need now is to see myself in the mirror. I must look awful.
No.
There's dust on this, too. It's everywhere. After all these years, it permanently smells of her and her perfume.
Dearest, how do I say any of this? I like your way with words, but if I don't write this, I don't know what I'll do. My life feels so unreal now, dreamlike, but wonderfully so. Let me try, even if clumsily. The hours I spent with you when we last met are precious to me. I was so lost such a short time ago. Everything seemed drained of color and feeling. I think we were meant to find each other, to bring meaning to our lives again, make sense of the confusion shrouding both of us. When we stepped into the crystal silence of the snowy woods, away from the chatter of the guests, all nature seemed expectant, as if holding its breath, witnessing a rare moment of something infinitely better than what life in the ordinary run of things has to offer. Do you remember how the light crust of the snow glittered in the reflected light of the country house? How the copse of trees in which we walked was haloed with a magical aura? I felt the chill of the night air, and you opened your coat and enfolded me in your arms, and we hugged tight, sharing the warmth, sharing the only thing any of us have to share on this earth when you think about it. And then you toppled us on the snow, you devil. We laughed and rolled around, my head already spinning from the wine and crisp, pure night air and the stillness all around. We lay back, and I gasped when I realized what I was seeing. The luminous starscape, like a vast velvet cloth sprinkled with powdered sugar, like it can only be seen in the countryside. I had tears in my eyes when I turned to you and we kissed, and it felt like the only moment in all of time, or outside time, and ours was the only spark that could ignite the universe. You gave me these moments. You complete me in ways I never knew to dream of. Let me be the one who makes sense of the confusion whenever you feel lost again. We can make our own world against the rest of the world if need be. Together we can silence all the demons, heal all the wounds. I love you. In eternity yours, Serena.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's been so long since I said her name out loud. I think that's the moment I fell in love with her, when she told me the soothing sound of her name.
Serena.
So glad to meet you. My name is Serena.
I did that before. No.
Comme une évidence, Serena's favorite perfume.
No idea what that says. Evidence?
I've always told Serena that she doesn't need to wear perfume. Her presence is magical enough already. It smells so elegant. There's violet leaf and silk tree blossom, I think. This perfume is perfect for Serena. Why didn't I ever notice? We were happy for a long time, at least I think we were. But as time passed, we fought about every little thing, even this. I keep looking at her things, remembering all the good and bad. Depends on how you look at it. Either a wonderful sensory stimulant and aphrodisiac, or a subtle weapon in the mating rituals of Homo sapiens. We were happy for a long time, at least I think we were. But as time passed, we fought about every little thing, even this. These keys are for the cabin and the car. If the keys are here, does she have her spare? I should probably stay here in case she doesn't. Did she even have her own spare? We also have a key for the outhouse, but can't be bothered to keep it anywhere other than under that rock next to the thing. No one comes here anyway. We did have a night prowler once who left a mark inside the outhouse, but we rarely lock it anyway. I never noticed it before, but there's some rust on the ring. Should get a new one. We also have a key for the outhouse, but can't be bothered to keep it anywhere other than under that rock next to the thing. No one comes here anyway. They prevent my blood pressure from skyrocketing. Doctor's orders. And Serena's. I'm generally not fond of taking medication.
Neither am
I
I.
find it hard to believe ingesting a few chemicals will do me much good in the long run.
Don't forget your pill, hun. I know you'd rather not, but you know it's for the best.
Beta blockers. I have high blood pressure. I'm only supposed to take these before meals. Not a big fan of them. They do tend to alleviate my headaches, though.
So beta blockers, I thought, were memory suppressants. No, so I don't know.
Beta blockers. I have high blood pressure.
Okay. Nothing else here.
It's a beautiful day, though there's an unnatural calm surrounding the area. I've always loved the hazy afternoon shades of this place. It's deep into summer, so there's a few hours left until it gets dark. The sunlight is so bright here. In other circumstances, this would have been the perfect afternoon for us. There's a crack in this window from a tantrum she threw some time ago. It wasn't the only thing she threw. The sunlight can be confusing, oppressive, as if pregnant with some ill omen. Or is the stress finally catching up with me?
Okay, guys, I'm going to pause this video for now. It's coming up to 20 minutes, and we'll start fresh with a new one. Because I don't think it pauses. I don't think it saves. Yeah, so I'm just going to stop recording, and I'll come back to you in the next one.